Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and in this video I've got 4 replays for you in the tier 8 Czechoslovakian premium medium tank, the Ragnarok. So before I get into sort of the gameplay, I'll just show obviously the equipment and perks I run on this tank. So I've got optics, vert stabs and vents on the Ragnarok, and on the perks I'm running Born Leader, Rapid Reload, 6th Sense, Steady Aim, Camouflage Expertise, Situational Awareness, Snapshot, Run and Gun and Trap Mechanic. So yeah, the Ragnarok then, it is a pretty decent tank if I'm honest. When this first came out, I'd probably go as far to say at the time it was quite a strong tank. I mean, I think it still is. It's just when you consider the Brask and the Mantis are about these days, you could say maybe it makes this it's called, I guess, overshadowed this somewhat by those tanks being available, or sort of quite common in the game, so to speak. But yeah, it's still got its place. It's part of the Crimson tanks that come out sort of quite a while ago. Remember, sort of you had the Hydra and the Minotaur available alongside this tank when it was first released. So with that in mind, obviously it's an excellent silver earner. It's got 175% silver bonus earned on this tank. So yeah, that's obviously its one of its primary sort of selling points, I guess, so to speak, when you sort of own this tank. If if it becomes available again, it's definitely something to consider getting if silver earners what you're sort of interested in. But aside from the silver making, what has it got going for it? I mean, its mobility, if you've seen, it's quite sort of fast paced. It's you can get sort of quite a good top speed relatively quickly as well. You got a nice damage clip as well. You do 320 damage per shot, and the reload overall isn't too bad. It's sort of, it's bearable basically. You're not on reload for very long. The inch clip reload is quite good on this as well, so it's quite snappy. You can snap those shots in, so you can get your clip in and then get back and move to sort of another location if needs be. And you've got 8 degrees of gun depression as well, which is quite nice. So you sort of play ridge lines quite effectively where you can. The bad points, so if I'm honest, you got 0.38 accuracy. So on paper it's derpy, but if I'm honest, I don't feel it. I don't feel that derpiness, to be honest. It seems most of the shots most times I play this, the shots have connected and it's done pretty well. Your penetration is you got 240mm of penetration on your premium rounds and 205 on your standard, which, if I'm honest, is a bit on the low side personally. I think, when you're top tier it's fine, but when you sort of start playing bottom tier, that can be quite painful, I think, personally, in my opinion. Your average camo in the view range is pretty average as well. There's absolutely zero armor on this tank at all. You may bounce obviously the odd round on the turret if you're lucky, but it's not something I would rely on at all. Average shell velocity as well. Your premium rounds got just over 1,000 meters per second, which, yeah, it's okay, I guess, but in the grand scheme of things, it's average basically. And the main point for this, I think, probably the worst part of this tank, I feel it needs long games to thrive, and in this current meta you kind of don't really get that. And you can see here, the replays I've got for you, this one here, I think the game literally lasts 5 minutes if that, and yeah, you need a bit of fortune where if you can get sort of those maps where you can get into places where you can get plenty of shots off in those 5 minutes, great. But I feel like you do need a bit of a long game to make this tank not work, but you can make the tank work in any situation given the time limit, but it just needs that long game to have a nice decent game, I think, in this tank and make it worthwhile playing, because sometimes in those quick games you're on reload for long periods of time, it gets a bit frustrating. So but it is what it is. And we finished sort of the first replay off. We've done 3.5k damage, which isn't too bad, I guess, in 5 minutes. 5 kills, picking up first class medal. So, not a bad start to the video, I guess. But yeah, like I say, you can sort of see the theme throughout these replays where they're quite short and sweet. And I think this game, actually is sort of a bit longer. I think probably about 8 minutes on this one, if I remember rightly, but we're bottom tier. Now we do go on to obviously have a half decent game, but being bottom tier, again, coming back to that, you need a bit of a long game. When you're bottom tier, obviously you have to be patient, because you can't just play how you would usually play if you're top tier. Top tier, you can take a bit more risk. You can obviously trade up as well. You can take the trade a bit more, which obviously when you're in an auto loader, doing working out the best trade is obviously something you do on a sort of regular basis. I know last game obviously probably not a good example of that, because we didn't actually take any shots whatsoever, so perhaps we could have been a bit more aggressive. But in this game we're going to play quite passive, because like I said, we're bottom tier. We need to, this tank has no armor. Obviously when you're bottom tier as well, if you're sort of coming up against when you're coming up against tier tanks, most of them are going to be sort of firing, most of the damage that's going to be dealt to you is going to be sort of between 300-400 damage. I guess that's on your mediums, to be fair. When you're sort of coming up against your heavies, you look at 400-500, so you start to become you just become vulnerable, obviously. And we've been getting a bit brave here, but we can see these heavy tanks are distracted. We're going to get some shots into this Object 705A. We only connect 2 because the second one went into the tracks. But that was an opportunity to just get some damage off while that Object 705A was distracted. And this is sort of the point of just taking the opportunities as they come, which is exactly what I'm going to do. Now I'm going to push in here because, again, heavy tanks are distracted, but unfortunately we don't quite get there in time. We get a shot off, but it doesn't connect to anything. So now we're just going to move out of this dip, and we're going to see, just going to assess the situation. Now, majority of our team are in the middle here, so it may well perhaps sort of probably be better off if I move over to the right. Initially I wanted to play the right flank, but the problem I had is I knew there's a vigilante in the game. If I get caught out on my own with that vigilante, I'm as good as dead, basically, because again, tank has no armor. Vigilante is just going to look at us and think all you can eat buffet. We get some shots into that tiger shot, but unfortunately that tiger shot dumps his clip into us, which is not ideal because now we're pretty much half health. We then get shot by something that's over on the other flank here, which we were going to move to because we kind of wanted, again, it was quite exposed. I'm assuming we got shot by that Lorraine. That Lorraine gets spotted up by our friendly medium tank that is sitting at the back there. Now we're going to dump a clip into this Lorraine, and that's a nice trade. Happy to take the shot off the Lorraine if it means we get 3 shots in. Obviously the shot was fired blind. He wasn't lit up in the back there, and had he not got lit, we could have been in a very vulnerable position there. Now ideally I'd like this pattern to move up, and realistically this pattern should be playing further forwards. I don't really like to see this sort of gameplay, and I'm not one for calling out players when they do this, but the pattern has fantastic view range. You're a tier 10 medium, for Christ's sake, and it's a ridge map. Ideally it should be up front. But this Panzerjäger's having to do the job to move forwards, and in all fairness, fair play to the Panzerjäger for trying. We get a nice shot into the Lorraine there, but we're obviously getting spotted up because of that heavy tank that was sitting up on the mid-ridge there. But yeah, the Panzerjäger's done the brave job of moving up and spotting. To be fair, Panzerjäger is strong enough that he could probably get away with that. Panzerjäger is like a hybrid light in my opinion anyway. Has the speed of almost of a light tank and the camouflage ridiculously good like a light tank. Obviously being a TD plays that role quite nicely. But you know, we're having to be very careful. We're on 366 hit points, so this game is going to be even more long-winded than normal. But yeah, we've done under 2.5k damage, which, if I'm honest, not bad considering we're bottom tier. I think we've been quite fortunate enough to be able to get that amount of damage in. Looks like our pattern is on the move, which is good. Hopefully the pattern can move up to the right here, and it's kind of what I'm suggesting here. That this pattern does, because the pattern, like I say, has that really good view range and can start spotting up for us. We can't do any spotting because we don't have the hit points. If we get caught out, we're dead, and our view range isn't that great anyway, so I'm not going to sort of put my neck on the line to spot for, you know, our team. It wouldn't make sense. So we got his command bar in the middle here. Our Panzerjäger and our pattern are moving up, which means hopefully they could potentially get in a position where they could get some shots on this command bar. Now the command bar's in cap. I'm debating, maybe getting some shots in. Again, I guess I need to be careful with what's at the back there. That's the Vigilante. Now, I see this window of opportunity where I think, do you know what, I would love to take this Vigilante out. I actually managed to take out the Vigilante and not take any damage there, which is quite something. I really want to get rid of the Vigilante because that is going to be a dangerous tank. We're coming up to the end game. Having that Vigilante dead is more useful for our team, and you know what, if I was going to die at that point, then I would think, well, do you know what, I'm not overly fussed because I didn't feel like I was going to have a good game anyway. And if the Vigilante is dead, you know, if my sacrifice comes at the cost of getting rid of the Vigilante, so be it. It's a team game. We're, you know, playing the team player role, and you know, I'd like to think that hopefully that done our team a, you know, favour essentially. But moving on, we managed to get a shot into the Leopard. Now I'm starting to feel a little bit like the game is coming to a bit of a conclusion. We actually managed to spot the artillery there. It'd be great if our team could get some shots into them. I'm not sure if they're in a position to do that, but we're going to move up. The two mediums are spotted, which only leaves the tank destroyer unaccounted for. The Leopard is down to a one shot, and this game is pretty much in the bag now. We haven't done too bad considering we're a one shot, and again being bottom tier, we've had to play really patient, but it's paid off essentially. Yeah, it's not been a barnstorming game, but we've made it through essentially. You know, we've managed to we've managed to have a half decent game considering we're bottom tier. But anyway, we found the Stridsvagn and we picked up a little bit of assist. Unfortunately, Stridsvagn is facing this way, but our Panzerjäger's going in, and luckily the Strits gets tracked, and we actually managed to get the kill shot on the Stridsvagn as well. And then we put our last remaining shell into the artillery. Looks like the artillery is going to go down, and yes, it does. And there we go. We picked up the win, yeah. End up with a victory. So we come top of the board with 3 kills and 3.5k damage with 940 assists. I'd say not an epic game, but you know, half decent enough considering we were bottom tier. We're picking up the first class medal, and yeah, we move on to the third replay. So here we are then on Westfield. And I think we're top tier in this game. We're on the not so good spawn. Would always, well, mind you, actually to be fair, in this tank really doesn't make any odds because Again, it's not the end of the world, because even on the other spawn, haven't really got the best of view range, so I wouldn't really perhaps go commit into the middle. So yeah, it makes no difference. We're on the so-called bad spawn, because for spotting wise, you'd rather have the other spawn. But we're going to move up to the corner in K9, around that area. Reason being is to gain map control. This corner for me on Westfield is the kind of a pivotal point, in my opinion. I think either side that wins this corner pretty much gains full map control, near enough. If you're on the other spawn, you focus this corner. If you clear this corner out, then you can start pushing down into the spawn. You can get rid of the artillery, and then you can come up behind the tanks that have moved up onto the hill section. And we've had a real stroke of luck there. We've actually got 1,000 hit points thanks to the batch at 12. We've taken out their light tank, or one of their light tanks, early doors, who was playing a dangerous position. So that's a real good start, and I'm hoping we can kick on from there. As you can see, we've come up to this, we've come up to the area where we're trying to sort of just keep map control. I'm just poking up, not giving too much of my turret so that the enemy team can't hit it. A couple of these tanks, I think, they were a little bit distracted by something. We managed to get a shot into that Chimera there. We've lit up the Ferdinand as well. Now, at this point, I should probably start looking to... I probably should have just sort of swung out to the right a bit, sat behind the bushes, got some shots maybe onto these tanks. I think that's potentially... am I going to do that? I'm not sure. I think I'm going to move over to these bushes. Unfortunately, we get lit there. Trying to swing a shot into the Tiger 2, but obviously that was on the move. Weren't quite fully aimed in. We've gone for the APCR now, because I'd like to sort of try and obviously get some shots into that Tiger 2. I'm going to move round because I think sort of looking at that medium that's making an advance, I'm kind of thinking we could go over there and get some shots in, but that medium then gets taken out. So I thought, right, you know what, I feel like this is the right time to push up to that ridge where that Tiger 2 is. Reason being, if I get there, I can start proxy spotting some tanks up. But on the way, we spot up this Freedom, which we completely catch out there, and we actually put a full clip into that Freedom. Unfortunately, none of our team are in a position where they can get some shots onto that Freedom. Luckily, we didn't take any hits in return. But now we're at the position where we wanted to be, and we're going to proxy spot here. You see, we've just lit up the light tank and the Ferdinand, and the Ferdinand gets a shot straight in there. I'm going to try and poke and see if I can squeeze some shots in. Unfortunately, we're not able to penetrate this Ferdinand at all. We just spam all three shots. That third shot we should have taken a little bit more time, if I'm honest, because the Ferdinand had just fired. So yeah, it was not great that we didn't really sort of trade one for one. But we are picking up some nice spot assist here by keeping this Ferdinand lit, and yeah, the Ferdinand is now kind of trapped in a world of pain. It's getting shot from this side. We managed to actually squeeze a shot in, kind of overextended a little bit there, and we take a shot from something. I think it might be in the T-44, or actually it might be the light tank that's still at the back there. So yeah, unfortunately bled a little bit unnecessarily, but again, we're just sort of poking out. We're just keeping these tanks spotted, and we're just picking up the assist where we can. Now I'm going to push in, because again, the game is kind of, hitting its climax, so to speak. We squeeze a nice shot into T-44. Still got a light tank back here that's shooting at us. Now the Ferdinand? The Freedom is down left, poking some shots in. Yeah, Batchat 12 is at the back there. We sneak in one final shot from our clip into that Batchat. I'm trying to get protected from this Freedom, but it's not really working out. Just waiting to go off reload. The Freedom is now getting rushed by our Vengeance. And there we go. The game just ends up coming to its final conclusion. And we pick up the win there. So how did we get on? We came top of the board again with just under 3k damage with 2.6k assist, 3 kills. And yeah, picked up the first class there. And yeah, just finished the game relatively well. Again, just sort of a little bit of patience, just sort of needed to overcome those last tanks. So the final replay then, we've saved the best till last as we always do, and we are on Nebelberg. We're actually platooned up with our good friend Fades here, who's also running the Ragnarok, so we get 2 for 1 here. And yeah, we're going to make our advance to sort of the middle here. I was saying to Fades I'm probably going to play the left hand side of the mid-ridge here. Reason being, if I can potentially spot up any tanks, I'll pick up some assists, but more importantly it's catching out any tanks that get spotted doing the cross. And Fades has come with me because hopefully between me and him we can get some shots in. We could potentially shut some tanks down actually. Between both of us with our clip potential, yeah, we more than able to take out one tank at least, and potentially put another tank onto half health. Now this is a bit risky because obviously if I get spotted as well, the tanks that will be sort of over in that corner will be able to put some shots in as well. This poor Panther, bless him, has just got caught out, and between me, Fades and the rest of the team, we managed to get a couple of shots in, tracking him in place and also picking up the kill. So the poor Panther unfortunately just gets taken out early doors, but that was the whole play. That's the reason why we've came here. We've also got VK here for some strange unbeknown reason. Yeah, okay. Maybe the VK wanted to play the light tank too. But anyway, I said to Fades that I'm going to move around to the town now, just because I'm kind of worried that that flank is a little bit exposed. Fades is going to sort of stay in the middle and just sort of help the team try and take control of the middle. I'm thinking if I can get through the town, I might be able to put some shots on any tanks that are in the middle as well. But we need to be careful because we've only got a heavy tank and we've got this medium tank that's just sort of sat in the island here. So essentially I feel like the town isn't getting rushed as such. We've seen this Tiger 1 there, which I'm not too phased about, but then we see a Stern Panzer, which does phase me because obviously the Stern Panzer can hit really hard. I don't have any armour either, so that doesn't really help. We're going to wait for the Tiger to approach here. We get a shot into the Tiger. Unfortunately, the second shot just hits his track. He snaps his shot, but unfortunately, he snaps his shot. Unfortunately, it doesn't connect. So we actually come out of the engagement unscathed, which is good. I'm back on reload now, and if I'm able to, I should be able to take out that Tiger 1. Just need to be aware of the Stern Panzer and make sure that I don't get caught out and get hit by that Stern Panzer. This Tiger 1 is trying to hide here. We should be able to get him with our third and final shot, and we do. Back on reload again. We've taken out the Tiger 1, which is good. Picking up our second kill of the game. We're getting targeted by something on the hill, I believe, and I'm just, again, keeping an eye. I want to know where this Stern Panzer is. We can see this AT2 here, which I might be able to get some shots in. There's also a heavy tank that has come into the town, and we're going to see if we can squeeze some shots in, but then we see the Sturm, and oh my word, that was so lucky. The Sturm takes a shot but doesn't actually fully connect, I think, just splashed into our tracks. We managed to get some shots in, and he's actually down on a one shot now, so this is really handy. But then I see this M46 KR to our left, who I don't think has actually spotted us, but we're kind of caught between two tanks, and I'm on reload, and yeah, this isn't really boding well. I'm kind of hoping our Dragon can come help, and I've just decided, you know what, I'm going to go for the M46 KR. I'm going to dump a clip in. If I take a shot, fine. I'd rather take a shot off that than off the stern. The reason I didn't want to stay there, I didn't want to go for the stern, because if I got hit, it could have been dangerous. So I feel like that was the right play. I feel like going for the M46 kill, and we're lucky as well because we managed to take him out of our full clip. Stern gets taken out by our friendly medium tank, and the scores are now even. We've got majority of our hit points still. We've already started off pretty well in this game. Fade seems to be doing okay on the other side. He's rattled off a few tanks of his own, so yeah, between us we're kind of holding the flanks pretty well. Our friendly heavy tank on this side I think died a little while ago, but we have got this Drogon with us. In actual fact, the VK who was over here, I said Fade, so it's a VK over here, but I'm not sure where. And then the 87 comes out of nowhere, giving us his side, so we're going to get some shots into him. Unfortunately, we rushed that shot on the VK, so we weren't able to land 2 shots. We were only able to land the 1. We've got artillery looking at us now, so I'm just moving to try and avoid getting hit by artillery. I'm also just losing my spot because I want the VK to make it look like we are leaving. Unfortunately, we get lit up by the heavy tank that's behind us. We're going to move in on this VK because I feel like the VK is actually going to be, well, I thought he was going to be looking at the medium tank, but now he's sort of paying his attention to us. Fortunately, he takes his shot, which just hits our track. The Drogon puts a shot in, and then we finish off the VK. And there's only 3 tanks left now. And I'm on the potential for a Radley's here, and I've just mentioned that to Face. I'm like, oh, got potential for a Radley's here. So now there's only 3 tanks left to our 7, and I'm in literally turbo mode here because I want to get over. I want to get as much damage as I can. I want to get some, I want to get a few more kills. Great to get the Radleys. I know, like, sort of from experience, the requirements for this tank to get an ace are pretty high. So I managed to squeeze some shots in artillery there, but unfortunately the Hori sat on the hill, manages to set me on fire, and my god, that is an awful stroke of luck there. But luckily Jagdpanther takes him out. Didn't really need that, if I'm honest, but we had the hit points to play with, so I wasn't too fussed by it. It is what it is. But I'm going to rush to the last remaining artillery and hopefully can pick up another kill. Obviously, we don't have the chance for Radleys now, but we can potentially get a devastating medal. So hopefully, if we can find the artillery and pick up some assists at least. There we go. We're going to just wait for the reload. We get 1 shot in, and then we get the final shot, taking out the M12 and picking up the 7th kill of the game there. Topping off a pretty nice game there, and we come first place with 5.3k damage with 7 kills. Fades comes in a nice second there, pick up just over 1,000 assists, picking up the ace tanker, Brothers in Arms, Dimitri medal, Devastating medal, high caliber. Just rattling off a really nice game there. Like I say, credit to Fades, he's done a really good job supporting us there, holding the other flank really well. So yeah, fantastic job on his part. And there we go, that is the Ragnarok, guys. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please feel free to like and subscribe and drop a comment if you want. If you want to sort of let us know how you find the Ragnarok if you got it. And as always, guys, I'll catch you next time.